Do you feel sometimes that your style of play, that you had something to do with the change in thinking of the way they play basketball in the pros?
I would like to think so, but there were many guys that came in the pro ball the same year I did. I think some of them could do these things, you know, but I guess they were more disciplined than I was, you know. I had a free hand to do these things, you know. I did it in high school. My coach allowed it in college, and so when I came into pro ball, I continued to do these things. You know, I watch some of the old films and look at the shots now, and I say, hey, you know, this is exciting, you know, and I think this is what the fans probably want to see now.
The #1 pick in the NBA draft in 1958, immediately filling the seats, saving the near-bankrupt Lakers.
We never hear about Elgin Baylor. It's like they kind of cast him aside.
It's a tragedy, I must tell you. And I've often said this about different ball players that I see around the country. Elgin Baylor, no doubt, is one of the top small forward in the game. Who could play better forward than Elgin Baylor?
Elgin Baylor, to me, is the most underrated player in NBA history.
You know, Elgin, I have said this many, many times, and I know I'm not alone. You are, without question, the most underrated superstar in the history of the NBA.
How about your all-NBA team? Elgin Baylor at a forward and Elgin Baylor of any team that I ever pick.
Let's see. I got to go with Elgin.
Elgin Baylor.
Baylor.
With Elgin Baylor.
Baylor.
Those still your top 5?
That was my 5.
Okay.
Who would you say is the greatest player in NBA history?
I would say Elgin.
Jones, jump shot blocked by Baylor. Baylor's got it, and he tries desperately to make one of the great plays of the year.
You talk about the greatest performances in an NBA Finals series. I don't know if anyone will ever match what Elgin did in Game 5 at the Boston Garden against the Celtics when he scored 61
Baylor
points.
could give the Lakers a 3-point lead. This is the 5th game of the World Championship. Elgin Baylor got 59 incredible points. 60 points for Elgin as he gets the first.
He may have been as good as there ever was.
Russell guarding Baylor, and Baylor made it. Russell was guarding Baylor, and Baylor made it. The Los Angeles Lakers have come to life.
This is the magnet that draws the fans into the new Los Angeles sports arena. Now that big league professional basketball has reached the West Coast.
Perhaps the most complete player the game has ever seen. The Lakers captain, an all-pro every year since he's been in the league, Elgin Baylor.
Named to the All-League team for the 7th straight season, he's generally regarded as the best all-around player in the NBA.
The Lakers try their passing fast break to Selby to Baylor. Baylor in deep on Heinzen. Shot blocked by Heinzen. Rebound Baylor.
This is one of the great players that doesn't get enough credit. He was great.
Elgin Baylor.
I think it's tragic that there's so many people in this league that have been incredible players that have never won a championship. And if that's how we measure players, it's the wrong way to measure players, trust me.
Good! Lakers tie it up!
You talk about the greatest players in the world. Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Elgin Baylor's in that list.
Going to the forward position, I think you'd have to start with Elgin Baylor. I think he's probably, as a forward, he's unequaled. He was just a super player, and he was truly a great one.
Talk about forwards today, and there are some great forwards, but I've never seen a forward that I thought was better than Elgin Baylor.
In 7 seasons, he's rolled up a 30.2 average per game.
Elgin Baylor, regarded by many as the best basketeer in the world.
22, Elgin Baylor.
He was so good. He could do anything with a ball. He was the pre-Dr. J.
Every game, he was Magic Johnson and Dr. J all rolled up into one. Michael Jordan, I mean, he was tremendous.
Nobody inspired me more than Elgin Baylor. Baylor was a favorite guy to watch. I mean, he just brought me out of my seat, made me want to run outside and try and do something that I saw him do. And that's pretty special. And you're special as a player if you can make a kid do that.
By the Lakers. Elgin Baylor has it. Drives down the middle, hands off. The ball comes out loose again, and Baylor puts it up for a field goal. On the right side for Los Angeles. Tries to swing it into the middle. Heinzen picked off, and Baylor shoots over. Hundley with the ball. Gets it to Baylor at the top of the key. Gets inside the lane. Swings it back out. Now the pass to Elgin at the baseline. Slides along the baseline. Back door, and he's got it. Driving the ball down inside. It goes inside the key. It's a basket.
Who was the toughest guy you played against?
Elgin Baylor, for me, was really off the chart toughness. About 230 pounds, 6'6".
He gets the ball. He's got it. Slammed up. What a play.
He was just so capable in any game of getting anywhere from 25 to 50, 60 points. He was just that kind of machine.
He has tremendous fingertip control in and around that basket, which enables him to come up with the great shots and the great passes.
Baylor swings the ball around the right side. Baylor behind his back. Great pass and an easy layup for the Lakers. Here's Elgin Baylor taking the rebound and going down the floor for West. West on the left side with the ball, trying to penetrate. Sealed off by Guerin. Turns and shoots and he scores again.
Top scorer Elgin Baylor feeds Rudy LaRusso for a Lakers goal. Baylor. To Mullins.
Reed is still down. The right-hand side of the key. They've got an open man. Underneath an Elgin Baylor to Chamberlain.
Most people look at his number of points he scored. I think few people really realize what a great passer he was.
What people didn't know about him was that he was an extraordinary passer. And the word in the league was you never double-team Elgin. And I never got any help with him out on the court. It was always Russell to back me up when he got past. But the issue was don't double-team him because his next pass is always extremely accurate and always too good for 2 points. So he was a force.
How about their team play? Baylor and West have been 1-2 on the team in assists every year that they've been together. Working together is the key to the way they terrorize the rest of the league.
Great passer. As a teammate, I learned to keep my hands right here because he'd go by and he'd see you're open and he'd take a dribble and
pass by Baylor for an easy layup. Great assist.
I had to be ready to catch the ball at any time around Elgin.
He was an outstanding passer.
Elgin Baylor. The Lakers have put in both big men, Ellis and Wiley, and Baylor is now playing a guard. Here's Elgin Baylor to Erickson. What an assist.
Baylor, with perhaps as good peripheral vision as the game has ever known, can spot the men and make the bounce passes.
Baylor to Chamberlain, up and in.
What a teammate he was. I just loved playing with him because I knew he was going to get the ball. If I moved with that ball and got open, he just was a complete player.
And when I went to high school, each year I grew. I went from a guard position to a forward position to a center position. And that's how I learned to play all positions. When I got to college, more or less, I was a utility man whenever they needed.
Baylor on a great assist to Hudson. Russell has come out and he screens for Kuzi. Baylor again gets the rebound. A second in a row. Fast break. There goes West. He's got it.
Baylor with a rebound. A pass the full length of the court. An easy layup.
Baylor. Hey! Guarded by Bowman, so Baylor moves in, giving it to Garrett.
Inside, another shot, and Baylor with a rebound. Looking down court, full court pass, and an easy layup by Haney.
It still is where his valuable asset is when he's coming down on that break, leading the break, coming off the defensive boards, which enable us to get our guards out ahead.
And Elgin Baylor led all the forwards in that category by a large margin.
This is a 3-on-1 break. Russell's the middleman. Baylor feeds off to Barnett. Comes off to Elgin Baylor. Baylor to West. Boston took the timeout, undoubtedly, to talk over this new Laker alignment as Baylor has now become a backcourt man and a guard, and they're putting the big men under the basket to see what they can do to get the ball away from Russell and give Baylor a chance to hit from that side.
The Lakers, Baylor.
Shot is up but wins the basket. Elgin Baylor rebounds and flips it on to Jerry West, who nicely racks up 2 more points for the lefty.
Hey, the way you played, the style of play, there was something magnetic. It was a charisma that you had, especially the way you controlled your body in the air.
Gets way up over the defender, and there's the field goal for Baylor.
Baylor would just blow your socks off. You never seen anything like that before.
One of the greatest players this game has ever seen. Elgin Baylor was very creative. People today who saw Dr. J, saw Michael Jordan and some of these guys, they saw some of their moves. Elgin did those things before they did.
Pass to Baylor. He turns around and reverses himself and scores underneath.
You know, he was the first guy I saw change hands with the ball in midair.
Dr. J before Dr. J. Michael before Michael. Kobe before Kobe. I mean, he was just really spectacular.
Baylor going across for a one-hander. Good.
He was the type of a guy that if you had to play him, you said, let me off.
Basket counts.
Not what you'd call a great leaper, but he had great hang time. And he had such strong wrists that he'd go up and show you the ball. You'd go up to get after it, and he'd just still be hanging, and then he'd move it over and he'd shoot it. He'd look like he was hanging there. It's just amazing what he could do, but tremendously strong hands and wrists, and that's how he was able to do it. He was able to actually shoot the ball on the way down.
Elgin Baylor down deep in the left corner now.
Elgin Baylor was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan.
He had what we call hang time. He stayed there forever.
Here he's penetrating off balance, lets it go, and it's good.
Let's go.
Wow.
Baylor. All the superlatives for this man, too.
I used to kid everybody I wore out of the side of my Converse basketball shoes by throwing him the ball and running to the other corner because that was the best play we had, was get it to Elgin and get out of the way.
Legendary LA Times columnist Jim Murray once called Elgin Baylor a ballet dancer in sneakers.
Outstanding player, and once he starts to move, he's almost impossible to stop.
A man that can dribble and handle the ball, it makes it a tremendous asset and is a valuable weapon for us against a full-court press.
Possibly the greatest one-on-one basketball player who ever lived.
Elgin Baylor there showed his ability to handle that ball and control the ball.
A sensational player, the best one-on-one player, and also really poetry in motion, as we saw there in the number of film clips going to the basket.
I'd like to show you some of the patented moves and some of the ad-lib moves of Baylor. He's got them all. It's no wonder they were so popular with the fans.
A fabulous one-on-one player. Nobody could stop him. He could shoot from the outside. He could score inside.
Elgin shot the greatest array of shots of anyone in professional basketball.
Baylor can do so many things. He can drive or stop or put up the jumper. He drives and takes it all away. The ball comes out to Elgin Baylor, who puts up the 12-footer. It's good.
The things that he did on the court, his offensive moves, do not copy them at home. They were very dangerous.
Baylor is good for two. Beats inside Elgin Baylor for the easy two.
He has fantastic moves.
He throws it up and in. Nice play. 15-10. That was not an easy shot.
Here you see the great body control of Elgin Baylor driving on Bill Russell.
Down the middle, in deep, finger roll.
Goes down the left side. Baylor has it. He drives and he can do everything, and he scores.
And Coleman, the greatest defensive player in the game, Bill Russell.
Dribble drive in deep, throw it up and in. And a beautiful job, sensational two-stride job from the free throw line.
Baylor going under.
Baylor's shot is good.
Baylor drives down the middle, penetrates.
Baylor into the air, jump, hangs, good. Elgin Baylor. Oh, how exciting can it get?
Drives toward the right baseline. Now comes inside. Stops, gets his shot off. Reverse layup, good.
He was strong. He could drive past you. He hit the outside, shot pretty good.
20-foot jumper. He's hot. He's been hot for 2 nights. Elgin Baylor stops, shoots.
Baylor down in the corner to Chamberlain. Chamberlain outside to Elgin Baylor.
22 in the West is Baylor, Elgin Baylor.
Say the name Elgin Baylor, and any NBA fan will tell you on the court he was power and grace defined.
There's Baylor, number 22.
These are complete basketball players. So you say, how about defense?
Last year, during the 1964-65 season, Elgin Baylor played his most consistent defense.
Sanders has slipped out of his class. Baylor
blocking Masheri
for Elgin Baylor. Good defensive work by Baylor.
Baylor blocking Pettis.
Hudson now has 7 points. This is Tomlin Arsdale.
Out the air by Baylor, dropped by Baylor, picked up by Russell to Sam Jones, jump shot blocked by Baylor. Baylor's got it, drops it out of bounds, and he tried desperately to make one of the great plays of the year.
Reed rebound stolen by Baylor.
9 for 67% of the East, 1 of 11 for only.
Barnett has it knocked away. Good work by the Lakers. Number 22, Baylor.
Elgin is just absolutely an amazing player. People thought that he was on his way out. They thought that his knees were bothering him, and gosh, this year he's done everything I've asked him to. He comes back on defense.
Russell.
Come on, Russell, we need...
Ball taken away by Baylor.
Here at Convention Hall in Philadelphia, the pass goes down. It's intercepted by Elgin Baylor. Baylor bringing it back down court for the Lakers. Drives in and scores.
Elgin Baylor steals it.
Scoring was fouled. Watch this play. Great interception by Lou Hudson on Baylor's long pass. Now Baylor steals it right back. Bumps Lenny Wilkins out of the play and scores.
And his quickness, his speed. I mean, he'd take the ball off the boards and would dribble the length of the court.
Baylor on the rebound. The Los Angeles Lakers star. Look at him move.
and beat most players down. I mean, he had tremendous speed and quickness.
One of the great improvements over previous years when Elgin Baylor was handicapped greatly by calcium deposits in the tendon of both knees is the fact that he's been able to rebound and come off the defensive boards running and to initiate and to start our fast break.
Well, I think I've been very fortunate to have my leader and one of my key players in Elgin Baylor.
It's always a pleasure to watch Elgin in action. He was a guy I truly admired every time. I just hated the fact that I'd have to play against him as much as I did. He was really superior.
Long pass up to Baylor. Baylor goes in.
I still don't think there was as good an athlete as you were in your day. I mean, you could have played at any time and still been a dominant player, Elgin. But what about those that look back on the day and say, oh, come on, those guys couldn't compare?
I think a lot of players, beside myself, would be very good players today. I don't think the game has changed that much. I think now the rules have changed, and I think the rules will probably be favorable. Then we played, guys could hand check you, play the guy strong. He could direct you in every position, everywhere you wanted to go. You know, when we played, it was more physical, you know, far more physical then. You know, it's like now the guys can do things and pretty much like dribble the basketball, change direction. When we played, it was carrying the basketball.
Right.
You know, you turn your hand, it was carrying the basketball. At a restricted area, a guy can stand on the basket. If you drive in there without play, it was a charge and foul. Now it's, you know, a blocking foul. You played against some guys, you go in and post up, and they're very strong. You know, they could push you out of position. Now you can't use both hands on the guy. So the rules, you know, are different. And I just think playing under the rules today, it would probably be, you know, easier offensively because the guys couldn't guard you like they did when, you know, when I played. You played against strong players like Gus Johnson, Bridges, Zach Sanders, you know, could put the hand on, direct you the direction that you want to go.
I'd like to see Elgin play against these guys today. If you didn't have fundamental sounds and good foot movement, you're not going to guard Elgin.
Here's Chamberlain coming to a high post. Baylor is fouled from behind by Gus Johnson of the Bullets, number 25.
Gus Johnson, there we saw just sheer strength. I shuddered every time I had to go up against Gus Johnson. He's about the strongest forward in the NBA.
The ball comes back out to Elgin Baylor. Baylor goes one-on-one inside now, makes the shot.
Took him inside. That's what you're supposed to do. Take him inside, but not too deep if Russ is in there.
Here's Elgin Baylor driving the baseline on the left side, getting by Russell, and then the ball comes out loose. Baylor retains control of the ball, moves on Russell again, turns and puts up a tremendous field goal.
I've always felt confident that I could score anytime, you know, in a crucial situation. I think my teammates felt that way. And being the lead and scorer of the team, I guess the coach wanted me to have the ball in the last minute or 20 or 15 seconds.
Baylor.
Elgin could shoot the jumper, could go to the basket. You can't keep him from going to the basket. I mean, if you want to get there, he can get there.
Elgin Baylor with one of his patented moves.
An Elgin Baylor bullseye cuts the Celtics lead to a nerve-wracking 1 point.
Elgin Baylor, one of his famous hang shots.
Elgin Baylor's unstoppable one-hander. Elgin, in the 1961-62 season, you had your best scoring year for average, 38.2. In one of the playoffs games, you got an astounding 61 points against the Boston Celtics.
I remember going after the game over to Tom Sanders, whose responsibility had been to try to guard Elgin, and saying, Satch, I think you did a hell of a defensive job tonight. You know, I mean, Elgin was that spectacular where he literally became the first guy that couldn't be stopped.
You got to have confidence in yourself, you know, when you feel that you can make the last shot. And I think if you don't have the coach doesn't have the confidence in you, and that's probably why he felt that maybe I should have the ball. You know, and he'd always tell me, well, take the last shot. You always had that confidence, actually. Even going back, I guess, to the one-on-one at the playground with your collegiate friend. I think you have to have this, and that's why I probably worked so hard, spent a year playing one-on-one because I wanted to beat him.
Trying to swing it to the baseline now. Turnaround jumper is good.
Elgin had a twitch. He had a kind of a nervous twitch about him, and he'd get that head down, he'd turn it, and you didn't know whether he was faking you or what he was doing. And if you didn't react to it, he'd shoot the thing right in your face. If you reacted to it, he'd go right by you. So that natural twitch he had was just absolutely amazing.
Plus, he also had a great ability to analyze the game, and mentally, he really understood the game.
I saw him put a play on Russell one time. It was unbelievable. He came in from the left side. Now, he was primarily a right-handed player. He came in from the left side to shoot a scoop shot. Russell came over to block it. He moved it to the left hand and shot it over Russell hit the ground, went to the right side, caught his own rebound, and tipped it in. He shot it to himself.
Sometimes he would he'd take the ball on the backboard and then go get it and put it back up.
I think that Elgin has perhaps as good a control of his body weight in the air as any basketball player I've ever seen.
My moments were against Elgin, and he had this step that he went by you so quickly that you were left in the dust. You had to be really prepared.
How many points you gonna score tonight? Elgin said, about 70. And went out and scored 71 points. Incredible array of shots and leaping and jumping.
Ness comes out to Baylor. Baylor penetrates inside, makes a good double head fake and scores.
And he'd spin around and do things. And Elgin, it's just that they didn't televise as many games. You didn't see the highlights, the replays that you see today. Or else, they would be saying, wow, this guy was incredible.
Baylor gets a screen, maneuvers to the left corner, swings out now, drives, penetrates, puts the shot up, and it's good.
Elgin revolutionized the forward position. I mean, he was what you would call a small forward at 6'5", but could rebound with the power forwards.
In corner, the jumper goes up. Baylor with a great offensive rebound, and he scores for the Lakers.
He astounded me by telling me that he averaged 19.8 rebounds his fourth year, or third or fourth year in the league. And I'm saying, Elgin, I know you're telling me this, but I really can't recall that you could, rebound like that. He says, I'll tell you the truth. He says, I love to rebound way more than I like to score. He said, my goal coming into the NBA was to average 20 rebounds a game. I'm like, get out of here. And I went and looked it up afterwards because I didn't believe I thought he was exaggerating, and I looked it up, and obviously 19.8. The next year was 18.6, I believe. And then he tore his kneecap, and he had several years where he was really hurting, and the man still averaged 13.5 rebounds. He said he loved going in there and beating those bigger guys off the boards. He loved to mix it up.
Scoring's only part of the story. Els has led the Lakers in rebounding every year that he's been with the team.
Probably our best defensive rebounder, putting all things together.
Particularly on the offensive end, he's second to none as far as second effort on any follow-up and twisting, driving shot.
Tremendous second effort by Baylor.
Elgin Baylor now gets another field goal.
During his 14-year career, Elgin's accomplishments were off the charts. He had career averages of 27 points and 14 rebounds, played in 11 All-Star games, and he was a 10-time member of the All-NBA first team.
Baylor's stellar career included 8 NBA Finals appearances, and he currently owns the 4th best scoring average in the history of the league.
Baylor instantly revived the Lakers, leading them to the NBA Finals in just his rookie season.
A man 6'5", averaged over 36 points a game and 18 or 20 rebounds a game. He was truly a great one.
Baylor, who became the third player in NBA history to go over the 20,000-point mark.
Bob Pettit setting up Elgin Baylor. Swish.
Bob Pettit with 25 and Elgin Baylor with 24 share the MVP award.
He won the ring the year he left. I think they gave him a ring. But, he was the forerunner of Connie Hawkins, Julius Erving, and then Michael Jordan. There's no question about that. But he's not identified with those guys. For some reason, the younger generation thinks the league started, when Michael or Bird and Magic came into the league. It's sad that that's the way it is. But he is, the things that he did on the court, his offensive moves.
He was the guy that set the tone. All these other guys came after him, and yes, they were great players, but anyone who saw him play knows that he was one of the best, and there's no question in my mind.
Elgin is just in the class by himself.
Game has been tied up 5 times at 75 all with 3:58 left in the third quarter. Baylor getting Reed to get out of position and causing a foul.
And I always say that when you're talking about small forwards, the best 3, they all start with B. Bird, Baylor, and Barrett. You can talk about anybody else you want. I'll take either one of those 3, and I'll beat you.
Modern basketball began with Elgin Baylor.
Baylor has it. Lakers break fast. He wound it up in a blaze of glory, an average career-wise 27 points a game. The 3rd greatest scorer in the history of the game. At only 6'5", the 4th greatest rebounder in the history of the game. 10 times an All-Star. Ladies and gentlemen, to make a presentation of his jersey to the Laker owner, Mr. Jack Kent Cooke, here is Captain Elgin Baylor.
This jersey with number 22 on it is going to be retired and will be retired permanently in the history of the Lakers in deference to one of the greatest athletes I've ever known. Thank you very much.
Certainly have mixed emotions about really giving this uniform away, even though it is to the owner of our ball club, the guy who paid for it. But however, I certainly would like to take this opportunity to thank the many people who have made my 13 years enjoyable and successful career. So many people, I know that I won't be able to name them all, but just to name a few, I'd like to start back with Mr. Bob Short, the original owner of the Lakers, who drafted me that year. The late Mr. Lou Mose, Mr. Cook, Fred Schaus, Chick Hearn, Dr. Curlin, Dr. Joe, I think our trainer, Frank O'Neill, my former teammates, my present teammates, and just many, many more. And those who I forget to name, after the ball game, just go up to Fred Schaus' office and he'll give you 2 free season tickets. Where's Fred? But anyways, so Mr. Cook really gives me great honor. I'm very humble about it all. And I certainly would like to thank you for the many wonderful years I've been with the Lakers. And I just don't know what else to say, but thank you very much.